Hi, in this tutorial what we're going to illustrate is how to use your Baker University email account to collaborate and take advantage of some cloud computing in regards to creating a PowerPoint presentation. Through your email account that ends in stu.bakeru.edu, you have access to cloud computing. And what cloud computing is that rather than saving something to a disk or your computer's hard drive or a thumb drive or a zip drive, you're able to save it out into the cloud, essentially an external server that exists that has multiple backups. So that anywhere you can get an internet connection, you could get access to it. And the nice thing about this is you'll have some mobility with it, but also you're going to be able to share it and use it as a collaborative tool, something that could be come in very handy when working with students or creating a project as you're traveling to be able to have access to it, and different features of that sort. So the way we get to it is you'll log into the Baker website, www.bakeru.edu. You'll scroll down to the bottom of the page, click on Email. On this screen, under Students, you'll click on the Graduate and Working Adult campuses. You'll see there it's the email that ends in @stu.bakeru.edu. Now this will take you to the login screen. Okay, here the Windows Live ID, that's your email name, and then you'll enter in your password and you'll click sign in. Now some of you may drop into a different looking screen the first time. If you do that, what you want to look for is either the Office tab or the Mail tab. If you click on Mail and then go to Inbox, that'll bring you into this screen. Okay, that's the screen I'm working out of because once I've logged in it drops me into this. But what we want to go to is this Office tab right here. If we drop that down, we're going to go to New PowerPoint Presentation. Now you'll see in here there's Excel workbook, there's a Word document, there's a new OneNote notebook. These all work in the same idea of cloud computing, something that's accessible through an internet connection. I have another tutorial on the Word document, and then this one we're going to pay attention to the PowerPoint presentation. So go ahead and click on that. Now, something to think about is what name you want to give it, okay? And this is anything that you would like to call it, but know that if you're going to be sharing with anyone or collaborating with anyone, that you can always rename it, but that you have something that is identifiable if you end up allowing people to come in and see it. And notice too, this is important. Here it tells you it's going to be a PPTX file. That means it's going to be a 2007 PowerPoint, not 2003. And why that matters is that even though you're going to create it in the cloud, you will have the option to be able to download it and open it in Microsoft PowerPoint if you have that software installed on your computer. Okay, so it gives you a little versatility that way. This share with option right here, we're going to get to that in a little bit. I'm going to show you a different way to share, so I'm not going to cover that right now. So we'll go ahead and click Save. And what happens is you're going to drop into what essentially is a PowerPoint. Now one of the first things you're going to do is when you first drop in, you're going to have this option is being able to pick your background and how you want it to appear. Okay, so you kind of get to choose what type of image, and you see there's quite a few, there's quite a bit, and you can always add and play with colors and things like that. So just doing a basic simple office or the essential one would work just fine. Okay, so you pick that or you choose which one you want. You'll see the box highlight and you click apply, and you'll see now this gives us just kind of a basic outline. Now from within here, there's another important aspect to think about, or I want to point out, is that whenever we go up in here, we'll see that there is a toolbar. However, it's not as robust to where if you have this software downloaded to your computer. So there are some limitations, and I think you'll find that this will work well and give you quite a bit to work with. But there are some limitations, like for instance, there's not a way to directly record audio into it as there is with the actual software installation. So there's a little difference that way. But we see here, if you want to create a new slide, this is important to point out too. We'll click on new slide, and this here there's little icons in here that you have to pay attention to. Alright, you see these, like for instance the title and content. Well, those three little options right there are the options to insert clip art, to insert web links, and to insert images. So if you know one of those three you're going to be utilizing, you want to make sure that you click on one of these options that have those available. Otherwise, those tools won't be accessible. So for instance, if we were to click on title and content, click add slide, we'll now see that we can insert smart art, we can insert pictures, and we can insert clip art. Okay, like for instance, the pictures you could pull directly from your computer, your desktop. Smart art, the clip art comes from Microsoft's collection, so you could browse by typing in a word and hitting search. It's going to browse and come up with all these potential images, related to your topic that you're able to inject in there. You'd simply click on it. You can see what it looks like. You could even get more images that are similar to it, but if you like it, you hit insert, and it's going to appear, and then you can, obviously, you'll see how the toolbar over here changes. Okay, so the way that you can adjust it and play with it, it becomes a little bit different. Okay, and if you want to change picture, you would click on change picture and be able to go through the process again. Alright, if we click on up here, which was the add title section, you'll see it brought us back. Now here's what I want to point out, that if we up here in the toolbar go to insert, notice how these things aren't highlighted. The link to create an internet link is, but these aren't, and that's because this section here, those options were available to us because of the tile we chose. This section didn't have those three icons in it, so those aren't available to insert up here. Okay, so that's something that's a little nuanced. I want to make sure I point it out so that you can get that idea when you're creating your PowerPoints. Okay. If you want to duplicate your slide, obviously highlight which slide you want to duplicate, click that, and you'll see another one is created. Obviously, if you want to delete, highlight the slide, click delete. Okay, view by clicking on view up here. This is where you can play the slideshow from its beginning or put it into edit mode. By clicking on home, brings you back to this screen. Okay, something I do want to point out is you'll see up here the revert back or revert forward arrows. And then also you notice there's no save button here. There's no little floppy disk icon to show saving, because this will actually save as you make edits. So every time you make edits and make changes, it's automatically saving, automatically updating. Okay. Now the other feature I want to show is one, how to export it as an actual full functioning PowerPoint document, as long as you have that installed on your computer as software. And then also how to share it with folks so that you can collaborate and work on this as a group or a team. So if you click on File, one is Open in PowerPoint. So open the presentation in Microsoft PowerPoint. So by clicking on this, it would take what I've created and open it in the software version of PowerPoint. So this is great for if you're on the road and you don't have your normal computer with you, or you don't have the software installed on multiple computers. You can still have access to it and share. And if you want to work on it with a team, then you don't have to email it back and forth with each other as an attachment. You can put it in here and share it this way. Okay, gives you the option here is to print, and this is where an explanation of how you save this or how it's being saved. But here's the next important thing I want to show is share. So by clicking on share, the screen is going to refresh, and this is where you can edit permissions for, and then you'll see the name of your document. So by just me, that means it's secluded to just you. No one else can see it. Okay. If you move this little bar up, and you'll see this green line appears. Now some of my friends. Now this list here and this list here is dependent upon who is in your contact list. Okay. Now how you create a contact list, the easiest way is through your email. You'll see when you access your email and you're in the inbox, you'll see to the left there is a way to create contact lists. Now that will be a separate tutorial, so if you don't know how to do that, you may want to check that tutorial out as well. And you'll see that with your friends, they can either just view it or you give them permission to edit. Okay, and as you scroll up, with friends as opposed to some friends, because some friends means that you can kind of segregate out who you want to share it with through your contact list. And again, friends, this would be everyone in your contact list. You can edit and control what they can do. Now, my friends and their friends can view. What this means is that you will have a URL that you can share with your friends, okay, as we have up here. You'd be able to copy and paste or cut and paste this URL and share it with your friends. They would then be able to share it with whomever they would like as well. So it kind of becomes this public web page that's accessible. And that's the same thing with this, where it says everyone public. That means that you just share this URL and that anyone with that link, they don't have to be associated with your contact list at all. Anyone with that link will be able to see your PowerPoint. It literally becomes a public web page that's viewable. It requires having this link, but anyone would be able to access it. Okay. Now, if you don't have your contact list set up, one of the ways to share, and maybe an easier way, is you can come down here and you can enter in someone's email account. Okay, so you would type in their email address, or if you start to type and you see their name pop up, you can choose them. Now you see here Susan Rogers. She has ability, I can adjust her ability to either just view the document or edit. So if we're working on it together, obviously I'm going to give her the edit option. Now if I click save, you'll see here that you can send a notification. So if you want to send an email saying, hey, it's up and ready, let's go ahead and start looking at this, or hey, I would like to invite you to view this, or can you share your thoughts on this, you would be able to send them a message this way. And by clicking send, it would send her an email, and in that email she would have a link. By clicking on the link, that would take her right to that document, and depending on the permission level I gave her, she'd either just be able to view it or actually make edits. And that's important, and I'll explain why the edit part's important, because you can view that. So if you already know you're going to be working on it together and there's no reason to send a message, you would just hit skip this. So if I hit send, the message is sent. Now this is important because you see here as we're dropped in, it's a little different looking, because notice our toolbar up here changes. Okay, to get back to what we had before, you're edit in the browser. That means you're actually editing the document within the web, as opposed to if you want to open it in PowerPoint, it would actually open it as a document associated with the Microsoft software, the Office suite. Okay, so if I do edit in browser, it gives us back to where we were. Okay, now if I go up and I click on File, you'll see the very last thing at the bottom, and I'm going to have to scooch it down, is Close. So if I go ahead and close this presentation, this is where I want to show you how the sharing becomes important. You'll see here, and this is your SkyDrive, which is something that is another tutorial, but essentially your SkyDrive is your storage space, your virtual storage space where all your files and folders can be stored. Okay, and you'll see here under the section of Shared by Me is the PowerPoint and the title we just gave it. Okay, now if I were to click on Edit in Browser, it would take us back to the screen we were just at, where you can make adjustments and edit. By clicking on Open in PowerPoint, it would again open it as a full functioning PowerPoint as long as you have the Microsoft Office suite and the PowerPoint option. Comments, these are if you shared it with folks and they want to be able to comment on it, you can see it. Here's something I want to point out to you. Under More, again here you see you can do share through this way, just like we did before. Let me drop this down a little bit. You can also download it, so that if you wanted to click on download, it would give you the option to be able to save it just like you would another file. So you could then save it to your computer. Okay. Or you could rename it, so that if you guys, you decide to rename it, you have the option to. But here's an important thing, version history. By clicking on that, it's going to open up the document in a viewing format, which means that you see here to be able to edit, you'd have to change and click on Edit in Browser. So this is just a viewing format, and you can see who made last changes. It gives you the date, gives you the time, and gives you the person's first name. And as you build them out, they will show up vertically, with the most recent being on top. And it's a nice way to be able to adjust and see who has made changes and who hasn't. So it's a good way to be able to share and travel around and bring documents with you by using the cloud.